Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Rick Taylor, and it's my great joy to be with you today with Reverend Deanna Vandiver, Rainier Reunion, and John Hanson and Larry Jones are providing the music. Marco Deppe is our chalice lighter today, and Reverend Deanna will be sharing our Time for All Ages. Henry Sakura and Nate Mesnard are our tech experts, bringing us together virtually. And for the gifts of all these folks, we are grateful. It is a blessing to be able to worship together and to be here with you today. I'm told that we're having some projection issues, some issues with our projection system, so I hope you'll bear with us. If you're here for the first time, or the first time in a while, we're so glad that you're here to share in this time, to make some space in your life to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website or scan our QR code in the pews to fill out a Getting to Know You welcome form so that we can send you our weekly electronic newsletter, the Westside Week, which is full of information about upcoming worship services and other virtual activities. We hope that you'll join us after the service for conversation and community, catching up with everyone and seeing warm faces on this chilly day. We gather today from many locations, and we take this moment to particularly acknowledge that our congregation resides on the traditional territory of the Duwamish people. In this acknowledgement, we recognize the Duwamish heritage imbued in the mountains, valleys, waterways, and shorelines that surround us all. May we nurture our relationships with our coastal Salish neighbors, especially the Duwamish people, and our shared responsibilities to this place. Let us take a moment to offer humble respect for this place and its peoples, and renew our commitments to the work of authentic reconciliation. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no test of faith, no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises we make to one another, commitments we make to healing a hurting world within and beyond our walls. Let's take a few moments to greet those around you in any way that feels safe. A smile, a wave, an elbow bump, whatever is comfortable for you. Okay. Is it reading for the most part? Thank you. We are delighted to have with us today Reverend Deanna Vandiver, a minister of love and liberation affiliated with the Church of the Larger Fellowship Unitarian Universalist, and the founder of Ever Unfolding, LLC. She has recently joined the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee in the role of Director of Justice Education. Deanna lives with her partner on the land of the coastal Salish people known as the Suquamish, the people of the clear salt water, and is deeply grateful to the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond for shaping her core understandings of how systemic racism dehumanizes all of us. Deanna finds sustaining joy by the water and magical possibilities in every glue stick, garden, and collaboration.
That's a true story. Oh, mercy, beloveds. What gift to be with y'all. Hello. Our opening words this morning come from the Reverend Ashley Horan, director of our Unitarian Universalist Association organizing strategy team. Y'all, they are doing some work right now. You are loved beyond belief. You are enough. You are precious. Your work and your life matters. And you are not alone. You are a part of a we, a great cloud of witnesses, living and dead, who have insisted that this beautiful, broken world is a blessing worthy of both deep gratitude and fierce protection. Whatever happens tomorrow, our ancestors and our descendants are beckoning us, compelling us onward toward connection, greater compassion, greater commitment to one another and to the earth. Together, we are resilient and resourceful enough to say yes to that call, to make it our life's work in 1,000 different ways, knowing that we can do no other than bind ourselves more tightly together and throw ourselves into the holy work of showing up again and again to be part of building the world of which we dream but have not yet seen. May it be so.
In each week's service, we invite a member of our congregation to light the chalice of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith. Today, our chalice lighter is Marco Deppin. We have asked our chalice lighters to respond to the question, what gives you hope? Marco, what gives you hope?
Good morning. I have to admit these days, I often have to be intentional about feeling hope. It's too easy to fall into despair with everything going on. And then social media and partisan pundits amplifying it into the echo chamber. If you're not mad, you're not paying attention, they say. But then I remember what my friend Sue, who is a fellow climate activist, likes to remind everyone of. The medicine against fear is community, action, and compassion. Hey, we didn't collaborate on this, right? That's why I'm here in a beloved community where service is our prayer and with lots of shared compassion here at Westside. Even as an atheist with no comforting belief in an afterlife, I have to be an optimist. We've sung it here a few times together. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would feel so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change. So yeah, that sums it up pretty well for me. And then I also get to fall back to things like what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said in '65. Yes, we shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right, no lie can live forever. So don't give up hope. Let's make some together. Thank you.
As Marco lights our chalice, please join me in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Not sure if we have the words behind us, so we're going to go old school. You grab your gray hymnal, number 323, Break Not the Circle. Please rise as you're willing and able.
Break not the circle of enabling love, where people grow forgiven and forgiving. Break not the circle, make it wider still, till it includes and embraces all the living. Come wonder at this love that comes to life, where words of freedom are with humor spoken, and people keep no score of wrong and guilt, but will let human bonds remain unbroken. Join then the movement of the love that frees, till people of whatever race or nation will truly be themselves and on their feet, see eye to eye with laughter and elation.
Thank you, Rainier Reunion. It is now our time for all ages. Reverend Deanna will be sharing today's story.
Well, let's see. Do I need to push any magic buttons? Or do we just make it happen? Oh my gosh. Hello, beloveds. What a gift to be with y'all. How does it feel? Do people gather? Do we stay seated all the ages? Hard to know. What feels good? You want to come up? Come on up then. Beautiful. Hello, everyone who's with us virtually this morning as well. It is good to be together in all the ways. My goodness. You go away for 2 years, and look what happens. Hello, friends. This morning, I'm going to talk about the word belonging. We're going to hold on to the B part of the word and spend a moment with belonging. Longing. It even sounds like what it is. If you take a breath in and you hold it for a minute, you may start to long to release that breath. Yeah, Longing is one of the first emotions I remember. Because my dad was in the Navy, and when I was 3 years old, they shipped him out for a 6-month tour. And I remember that feeling of longing, of wanting to just let that breath out, but feeling like I was holding my breath a little. Has anyone ever felt that way? When you really wanted something and it was just out of reach? Could have been a candy bar, might have been your parents, your grandparents. Anyone felt longing in their life? Oh, yeah. And I remember the day that his ship pulled back into port, running down the gangplank ramp, scraping my knees like I did all the time, and now associating that moment with being held, being connected again. That thing I had longed for, that sense of connection, those stories, that laughter, those hugs, returned. Being. And there's something about those words together, belonging. That's kind of what this congregation is all about. You belong here. And 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 all y'all belong here. This morning, we're going to welcome new families to this congregation. And you know what? Y'all belong here too. We celebrate. We are so grateful to spend time with y'all today. Thank you for coming, for stories, and for being and longing to being together. Grateful that you belong. And we have all sorts of exciting stories to tell you about. The nursery is open for little ones from 6 months to 4 years old. There's a religious exploration offering in the social hall for kindergarten through 8th graders with Jade after the time for all ages, which is now, it turns out. And our whole lives, the OWL class, y'all should know, the 7th through 9th graders are meeting as we speak in the fireside room. Beloveds, I invite you to sing as you go to these beloveds who belong here with this congregation.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
I'd now like to invite Laura White, representing the membership committee, to lead us in a congregational welcoming ceremony for our new members. Laura?
Morning, everyone. It's my delight today to put on my membership hat. We all have multiple hats here. And lead us in a robust welcome to new and familiar friends who become pledging and active members since January of 2021. The last new member event that we had was online, and I'm so happy that now we can do it in person. COVID may have delayed us, but has not dampened our enthusiasm for new members. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The glory of friendship is not just an outstretched hand, a kindly smile, nor the joy of companionship. It is most importantly that spiritual inspiration that comes to one when you discover that someone else believes in you and is willing to trust you with a friendship." We are inspired today by the commitment and joyful embrace of our friends who have committed to becoming active members of Westside UU. We welcome you with open arms and festive spirits. Before we honor our new members, I would like to take just a moment to thank my membership co-chair, Amy Youngblood. Could you raise your thank you so much, who has currently been acting in a play, so I didn't expect you here today, so we'll have to scoot right off after. And committee member Ginger Brewer, as well as our board co-chair Tracy Burrows, Rev Deanna, thank you so much, and Joan Whitley, who's our greeter chair and extraordinary volunteer. And importantly, our outstanding administrator Shannon, who has helped with the ceremony and the new members' social hour today. Thank you so much, Shannon. So with that introduction, I'm going to call the names of new members, and if you wouldn't mind lining up here, that would be great. Please bring up your children, a partner, a friend, whoever you would like us to meet, that is nearest and dearest to your hearts. And if you'd be so kind, start about, yeah, I have to go past the chalice table, we'll just see. Sherry Porter. Yeah, perfect. Sherry's bringing up with the gang, I love it. All right. Mike Lynn Greenberg and Nora. Mike and Lynn Greenberg. And little Nora, thank you for being brave, Nora, and coming up. You're doing a terrific job. Dennis and Cindy Jackson. I don't know if, oh, there they are, perfect. Rick Taylor. Yay, Rick. Kathy Leota. Ellen Wanless. You notice the beautiful flowers that Ellen has again blessed us with. Vaughn Bell and Brenna Staley, Calder and Jasper. So we may need to like scooch down a little bit, Sherry, and that would be great. Isn't this lovely? John Hornby, Kate Kirkwood. All right. So Tracy, myself, and Ginger are going to give you a little humble gift from the congregation, and then Deanna will lead us in the unison welcoming. How many people have a unison welcoming sheet with them? Okay, so everybody's got one. Perfect. Okay. We're going to do our little gifts right now.
All right. And if you're joining us online, there will be a slide for you with these words. Wow. Ooh, and a holy wow. Welcome, welcome, beloveds. Every new member gets a chalice and a new UU welcome book. And children receive the glorious pinwheels and keychains. Wow. We give thanks for this gift of breath and life. And Laura's going to let me know when we're ready. We're ready. All right, congregation, here's our part. Are you ready? Please join me. We welcome you who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your bones, who come proud and joyous. We welcome you who are seekers of a new faith, who come to question and reimagine, who come to grow and change. We welcome you who come with weary spirits seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come broken, whole, and holy. We welcome you who come with lives lived, who come with experience and knowledge uniquely your own, who come willing to share your life with all lessons learned. We welcome you who entered this covenanting community as a homecoming, who find here a home for your spirit, who seek here traveling companions for your soul. We welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. And new members, if you are ready, we are grateful for your welcome into this community of belonging. We enter this congregation with hope, with possibility, with promise abundant in our hearts. We offer the gifts of our own life journeys and our willingness to add our loving support to this spiritual community. We commit ourselves to the covenant of this spiritual community and to the values of this faith tradition, which calls us to relationships of love, justice, service, and compassion, and to grow our hearts with generosity of spirit. And now, dear ones, we are a we. Shall we all together say, we welcome each other into a loving relationship together and embrace the joy of our shared spiritual journey. Woo-hoo!
I love, some people are crying. I love it. Each of these new members will be writing or have written a short bio about themselves, a paragraph, which will be shared in the Friday West Side e-News. So be sure to look out for that in the next couple of weeks. And I want you to make sure that you connect with these outstanding folks who are already actively involved at West Side. You'll see them in RE, you'll see them in covenant groups, music, flowers, Sunday service leadership, and other very important parts of our congregation. And also to extend this celebration and make it a little bit more personal, please join us for cookies and conversation downstairs, where you will also see a pie sale. Oh, yum. So what could be more lovely than that? Thank you so much.
Thank you, beloveds. Welcome, welcome.
Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide.
In a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering, when we take time to actively support Westside UU and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those donations not designated as your pledge contributions. For the month of October, our community giving recipient is YARN, Young Adult Revival Network. Because our Sunday worship schedule has switched to twice monthly, while we take the next steps in our professional ministry, there are fewer opportunities to extend our generosity to our community partners. Please consider increasing your contribution in each service so that we can continue to support the work of these worthy organizations. YARN, the Young Adult Revival Network, believes that there is a need in our Unitarian Universalist faith for an organization that champions, creates, and supports all things in UU young adult ministry. YARN fosters a virtual community of young adults, bringing together UUs in the 18 to 30s age groups, producing its own network of young adult groups and campus ministries. YARN is also developing resources that congregations like Westside can use to start their own young adult ministries. All of YARN's work is done with young adult leaders who are being trained and developed to strengthen the future of Unitarian Universalism. You can give by text by sending a message with the $sign and the amount you want to give to 616-404-4171. If you need to update your payment information, text update to that same number. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to share your gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among you shortly. If you'd like your gift to be recorded as coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now, please enjoy this gift of music, Shebeg Shimur, with Chris McEwen on the fiddle. Thank you to everyone for giving as you were able to support Westside and YARN, Young Adult Revival Network. Your generosity of time, treasure, and presence are gifts that sustain us as a community.
I came into this faith as a young adult, and it has changed my life. So I thank all of you for supporting our Young Adult Revival Network. Each week we come together as a congregation in as many ways as we are able to connect and share that which matters most to us. And this morning I bring joys and sorrows from our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, beloveds. We bear witness to the grief of climate-forced displacement and send support and care to frontline communities testifying before the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights in Washington, D.C. this week. As the world prepares for the 27th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. That's what you hear, COP27. All of that is what's being said in there. It's being hosted in Egypt in November, and we pray for life-affirming collaborations that will center the well-being of prophetic elders and youth, generations not yet born, over the profits of violent extractive capitalism and nationalism. And after conversation with our beloved UUs in Idaho, we hold them in care. Trans, queer, people with uteruses, families, all who are fighting for agency and autonomy. We hold in care every ethnic group being targeted by the military junta in Burma to the point of genocide, creating the largest refugee situation in the world. And we name that these realities, Idaho and Burma, are woven together by threads of global solidarity, that interdependent web of existence, and by an Idaho senator who sits on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who has not yet been moved to bring the Burma Unified through rigorous military accountability, the Burma Act, to vote. We honor the joy of our global solidarity, even as we name the thousands and thousands of sorrows being created by violent acts on our neighbors in Idaho and our global neighbors in Burma. You come with your joys and your sorrows, and we hold them here together. Let us now, in a moment of silence, followed by music, hold in the tender vessel of our loving care all these joys and sorrows, known and unknown, of this beloved community. Let us extend our compassion to lift up and honor the lives of our neighbors and our wider world. There is a love holding all. I invite us now into a time to rest in that love together. For this moment of collective meditation, breathing in and breathing out, may we tend to our longing and to our belonging. As you are willing and able, I invite you to stretch. In whatever direction calls to you, let every cell of your being know that you are held in a vast web of love. The music comes from everywhere. We stretch into that love and into that care. We breathe in, we breathe out, and we hold a time of quiet together. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We give thanks and we rest in this love. Welcome, Rainier Reunion.
Our anthem is called Same Sun. It was written by Gretchen Schleicher. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive until we go back to the mystery. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive until we go back to the mystery. And we have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. Everything grows under the same sun. All of us come from the sea. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive until we go back to the mystery. As long as we're alive, we only seek to thrive with the powers of the mystery. I have come for communion, a precious sweet reunion with the powers of the mystery. May I shine a light of kindness through the night until I go back to the mystery. May we shine a light of kindness through the night until we go back to the mystery. Until we go back to the mystery. Until we go back to the mystery.
Precious, sweet reunion. Oh, beloveds, it is something to be here with y'all this morning. The last time I was here for worship in the physical space of this building was a lifetime ago. The before times, a Sunday just before the governor issued the pandemic shelter-in-place order, on the same day that the Department of Transportation issued the Close the West Seattle Bridge order. And that was a big pastoral care day. And I want to thank everyone who reached out. It was good to be with you. It is truly a wonder. We who are alive, it is a wonder to be here with you now, sharing in new chapters in our unfolding lives, bringing the stole that y'all sent to me across the sea back into the building. Thank you for this precious gift. We thought I would be here for 4 months max, right before the pandemic. A year later, I had the honor of serving as your bridge minister. Since then, I've supported sabbatical leaves for beloveds in the Edmonds Unitarian Universalist congregation, part of the design team for the recreated Beloved Conversations, that is now a virtual opportunity through the FOZ Collaborative. And some of you I saw in there, it was such a gift to get to see you again. And then this summer, I joined our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, complete with swag, as a director of justice education. My ministry and my life have been ever unfolding. Perhaps your lives too have unfolded in unpredictable ways as people, as congregation. Yeah, it is the beauty and the pain of being a part of an emergent universe and an emerging faith tradition. With courage and curiosity and occasionally crying, perhaps cursing, we live into the mystery together. In their work, Consider the Children How They Grow, published January 1st, 1951, Sophia Faz and Elizabeth Manuel wrote, "Religion is the dynamic and personal philosophy of life by which one lives. It is found in the meanings one gives to daily living. It involves one's attitudes and deeds in relation to other human beings, and also one's understanding and attitudes towards the physical universe and other forms of life apart from the mere human realm. It involves one's understanding of self and an estimate of one's own value. It involves one's attitude towards sex, birth, and death. It involves the balance one maintains between fears and hostilities on the one hand, and the warmth of friendly relations on the other. It involves one's attitude toward what one cannot know, as well as toward what one can know." While the collective legacy of religions on this planet have caused many of us to reflexively proclaim, "I'm spiritual, but not religious," it matters that we understand that Unitarian Universalism is a religion, one that helps us shape the dynamic and personal philosophy of life by which we live. This religion conspires with us to form communities of care that center beloveds most impacted by disaster, fear, hate, and systems of oppression. Our faith is not a profession of certainty, but of commitment and hope. I recently heard Emma's Revolution sing their song tribute to Pete Seeger, and there's a line in there that every time it comes on, I'm with them. They're like, hope changes everything. Sing, people, sing. Hope matters. And it is faithful work to cultivate attitudes of courage and care in the face of the unknown, the knowable, and the unknowable. Gilda Radner wrote in It's Always Something, a memoir about her life as a comedian and her experience with ovarian cancer, I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned, the hard way, that some poems don't rhyme, and some stories don't have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making the best of it without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Well, now, there's a spiritual practice. Delicious ambiguity. What if we choose to engage in a spiritual practice of, say it with me if you will, delicious ambiguity? What if we seek joy and meaning in living into the mystery to which we return together? Writer in residence at the Emergent Strategy Ideation Institute, Adrienne Marie Brown, reminds us in a poem, and we are never I. Even when we are lonely, even when we distinctly suffer, even when we distinctly succeed, we are of a lineage, of collective, of era. We've lived through an era, my friends. Of farmers' hands and strangers' prayers, of singers with their heads thrown back. We are always dancing with our ghosts and praying for our great-great-grandchildren. We are always the harvest, and the future is being decided. The future is being practiced. The future is being planted in this breath. And this breath, join with me if you will, and this breath. And so I breathe in, noticing the gift I too often take for granted, not knowing how many breaths I have left. I want to spend them being love. Being love. Now there is a through line in Unitarian Universalism, stretching through heresy and mergers, conflict and community. The through line practice of our emergent faith tradition is being love. It is through the faithful practice of love that we fumble together towards beloved community in this ever unfolding life. Always imperfectly, sometimes painfully, often joyfully, we practice being love. It is our religion. It is from this faithful practice of being love that the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee was born. Some of you know the story of Martha and Waitsil Sharp, who were the second and third Americans named righteous among the nations. The title established in 1963 by Yad Vashem to honor non-Jews who risked their lives to save Jews during the Holocaust. When Martha Sharp and her husband, Unitarian minister Reverend Waitsil Sharp, set sail for Europe from the United States in February of 1939, determined to help refugees escape Nazi persecution, they put in motion the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee's persistent commitment to centering human rights globally by partnering with affected communities who are confronting injustices and mobilizing to challenge oppressive systems. The Unitarian Universalist Service Committee was a partner to us in New Orleans after the federal flood of 2005. I am always grateful. As an 8th grader in New York City, a boy named Artemis Jakowski III chose his grandmother to interview for a school assignment. As it happens, his grandmother was Martha Sharp. And in sharing his grandparents' experience, Artemis wanted their story to inspire others, not to overwhelm them. Who can get on a boat today? Artemis says, life is made of righteous moments, not grandiose moments. Making choices where you reflect on how you treat everyone in your life. The key part about my grandparents wasn't just one big moment. They made thousands of little choices that led up to the story that we now tell. And as his grandmother, Martha Sharp, often asked him, what are you going to do that is important in your life? We make thousands of little choices that lead to the stories we tell about ourselves as congregations and as people of faith. Guided by the belief that all people have inherent worth and dignity, the UUSC persists in advocating for human rights and social justice alongside the most oppressed, exploited, and vulnerable members of our human family, and inspiring and sustaining spiritually grounded activism for justice in our UU communities. I want to offer deepest gratitude to all y'all who have been a part of supporting the service committee's faithful persistence in the world. The Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, who currently serves as a resident scholar and special advisor on justice and equity at our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. We started work on the same day, best same day buddy ever. Reverend Dr. Betancourt reminds us, let us never silence the inherent worth of the many for the habitual comfort of the few. Let us never silence the inherent worth of the many for the habitual comfort of the few. We make thousands of little choices that lead to the stories we tell about ourselves as congregations and as a people of faith. Being love is a spiritual practice. Being love is 1,000 little choices. And in practicing being love, we are always invited to stretch out of danger zones and comfort zones and into our meeting and our learning zones, our loving zones, meeting together in our growing, stretching, caring zones where we learn to make do together. In her sermon, A Love That Liberates All Peoples and All Beings, Reverend Dr. Betancourt writes, making do means that we ensure that all have enough, all. Being all people and all beings, community and the earth, a global population that is taken care of, neighborhood by neighborhood, congregation by congregation. Making do finds wisdom in the frontline communities who are already on the quest for racial justice, already on the quest for economic justice, already seeking an earth care that makes everyone whole. Here is where making do is community care. In an ever-unfolding universe, in an emergent faith tradition where revelation is not sealed, we are called to practice being love, to choosing global solidarity with all who quest for liberation, grounded in relationships of respect and care. Edward Shemp, the Unitarian, who was one of 2 named plaintiffs in the 8-1 Supreme Court ruling on June 17, 1963, that barred mandatory Bible reading in public schools, wrote, Unitarian Universalism is a faith in people, hope for tomorrow's child, confidence in a continuity that spans all time. It looks not to a perfect heaven, but towards a good earth. It is respectful of the past, but not limited to it. It is trust in growing and conspiracy with change. It is a spiritual responsibility for a moral tomorrow. As I began my ministerial formation journey almost 2 decades ago, time, I was assigned to read Scarred by Struggle, Transformed by Hope, written by Sister Joan Chittister. And several of the lessons of that work have stayed with me over time, including this one. Discernment means that despite the depth of our struggles, we must come out of our insulating isolation and live again, or we shall have died, no matter how long we live. Our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee offers us many pathways to come out of any isolating isolation our struggles may have pulled us into, to choose to live again in global solidarity. We can join the Pacific Island students fighting climate change. They are taking the world's biggest problem to the world's highest court. We can support self-determination for Haiti and tribes in Louisiana and Alaska, resourcing the most impacted and least supported through climate disaster and geopolitical violence, the ongoing genocide in Burma, the war in the Ukraine, the Congregational Accompaniment Project for Asylum Seekers. I was like, what is CAPAS? That's what it stands for. And family reunification projects. Beloveds, you are invited to discern what makes you come alive again and be love. Be love for liberation. As an Aboriginal activist group in Queensland in the 1970s offered so prophetically, if you have come here to help me, then you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. Your liberation is bound up with mine. We get to be love and get free together. May we practice trust in growing and conspiracy with change. May we choose to live into our spiritual responsibility for a moral tomorrow with courage and care. Y'all, together we are making do, making thousands of little choices that lead up to the stories that will be told about us by those great great-grandchildren, continuing the great through line of our faith, being love. Will you say it with me? Being love. And so it is. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, wherever and however you are, to sing into being the promise of building a new way.
It's number 1017 in your teal hymnal.
Stronger every day. We are
Thank you, Rainier Reunion, for bringing our time together this week to an end. Special thanks to everyone who participated in this service, especially Reverend Deanna Vandiver, Rainier Reunion, and all of our musicians, our chalice lighter, Marco Depe. As always, it's a pleasure and blessing to do this sacred work together.
Our closing words are from Adrienne Marie Brown. We are living in impossible times. If it were fiction, it would be critiqued as hyperbolic. No editor would let that pass. If it were nightmares, we would never sleep. We are living in times created by our own species. I can't remember the last time my tears weren't man-made. It feels like everything is broken. We must, each of us, fix our attention on the nearest wound. Conjure within us the smallest parts of ourselves that are still whole, and be healers. Heal with words and prayer and energy. Heal with money, clean water, time, and action. There's enough destruction. There's enough nothingness swallowing the living world. Don't add to it. There's enough. Our visions are ropes through the devastation. Look further ahead, like our ancestors did. Look further, extend, hold on, pull, evolve. We are ever unfolding, beloveds. And as Marco releases the flame, will you breathe in, breathe out. Be love. Go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.